This is how we ride. This is how we do.
It seems like over the past couple of years that anytime this has happened, it's always been a white officer on a black suspect, and it has twisted from police violence to a racial issue, an example of white supremacy. Police forces, the guard dogs for those who run the world, and the world is ran by white supremacy, this, that, or the other. But something I want to actually look at here is a little bit different. This is a situation posted on Instagram, Afrobeat Giant. And the situation you see here, you see 3 white cops on the ground, and you see they are beating a white individual. White cops on white people, which is something that we didn't really hear about in the police violence situation. And I think that we don't hear about this instance because it doesn't fit the narrative of what medias are trying to use. You know, the reason that the medias use racism and really latch on to those situations in a police violence situation is because racism is a hot button topic that makes people click a button, and getting eyes on the screen is what makes money in the advertisement game. You heard of clickbait. Obviously, with the title of this video, it's a clickbaity title, but it is a clickbaity title for the purpose of realization, not for the purpose of separation. The main difference between good people and bad people is based on a moral compass more so than a shade of skin. But the shade of skin is what gets all the clicks and the eyes and the attention. And also separates the communities. Because when you can separate communities, the people who keep this system going never look up at who's causing the problems. They're always looking across. We see this with political ideologies. We see this all across the board. It's always this versus that, left versus right on the same plane instead of up versus down. Now, how do you make changes? I think a lot of people see the stuff that we just saw there and see the stuff with TYRE Nichols, and we fire some cops here and we fire some cops there, and we look at a situation like that. What can we do? I have a very interesting, background. I was once on the streets of LA, and I was once in a situation where I saw a person getting gang beat similar to that. And I didn't have a gun or anything or any kind of weapon on me to step in and defend one person versus 3 or 4. But what I did do was I whipped out my cell phone, didn't have time to actually open it up and start filming. I just acted as if I was filming what they were doing to the guy. And they stopped what they were doing and ran away around the corner. It was in the metro system. Why did they stop doing what they did? Because they were fearful of being exposed. Talking about this and pointing things out and embarrassing people, not only just getting them fired, but embarrassing their actions, does make a huge difference in today's society. Everybody does or does not do things in today's society based on how it will make them look. We saw the female police officer who was sleeping around on the force, and she got caught and exposed and was an example of what could happen if other people got caught and exposed. I want to guarantee you that there was a lot of people doing those same things on work environments that all of a sudden was like, oh, we got to stop this. I don't want to look like her. The risk isn't worth the reward anymore. This could potentially happen to me. I could become exposed. Just like with the police officer situation. The more that camera's out, the more we expose that, the more fear is induced into those who may potentially do something, but do not do it in the fear and worry of being exposed and being these people. Now, there are good people and bad people. There's good cops and bad cops. I mean, do you want a cop to really not know how to attack somebody? If a husband is beating a wife, just got through slapping the kid around, beat them all up, and the wife gets on the phone and calls the police officer in, and the wife and kid run out into the front yard, do you really want a cop that's about to walk into that house that don't know how to put some whoop ass on somebody? There are certain situations where this type of ability that police officers have to address people who are in the wrong. So these are very hard decisions that these police officers are having to make in the heat of the moment. This is not an easy job. which means it should be a little harder to be one of those people and maybe be a little bit better compensated as well, because they're not really getting a lot of money to do what they're doing. So there's multiple ways of looking at the situation. So in closing, hopefully everyone sees both of these situations, and hopefully the race debate can be pushed to the side for what's right and wrong. Instead of left versus right, let's worry about right versus wrong. And I think we have two situations here in recent memory that can say, hey, this isn't about black and white or right and left. This is about right versus wrong. And we can all point out what is wrong and throw the race side of the situation out of the equation.
This is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up.